I just had a random thought while I was getting some editing done, and I think I understand the strategy of the owners of these dating apps as a business and why dating apps have progressively gotten worse. Because a few years ago, you could get some good outfits together, get a reasonably good photo shoot done, and get some pretty good results on dating apps. But nowadays, it seems like their strategy is to try to match you with people that are unappealing to you. And they'll throw some appealing people in there here and there, but there's so many fake profiles that it makes it hard to tell who's real and who's not. I don't know if it's like that for the girls on the apps. But from the guy's perspective, basically the average guy on a dating app is going to have to pay to get his profile even exposed to enough people to hope to get matches. And that's after going through the whole process of getting good photos, writing a good profile, etc. While girls, on the other hand, and by the way, I'm not bitter about this, I'm just stating how the dating apps are working and why I think it's really important for people not to solely rely on dating apps. The dating apps don't represent what your real experiences are going to be if you go out in the real world and interact with people. If you work on your social skills and go out in the real world and interact with people, it's going to be so much different than dating apps. And I've not only witnessed that firsthand, but I've seen other people go through a similar process as well, getting away from dating apps. But back to what I was saying, it's like the opposite for the girls. Their business strategy to keep the girls on the dating apps and make money is they want to overwhelm them with matches. So they're not just going to go to the regular discovery thing and swipe. Think about it. It's easier if they already have 3, 4, 500 likes to just go to the list of people that have already liked them, which you have to pay to do. So they go on, pay to get access to the list of guys that have already liked them, and then they go through that list and select from. But then what ends up happening is the psychology behind a girl getting that many matches and having that much control over the dating marketplace. The power goes to a lot of these girls' heads, and they're on these apps trying to select the most outrageous guys that are completely out of their league. And I'm not trying to sound conceited or anything like that, but the thing is, I go out in the real world and interact with people. I cold approach. I've been doing cold approaches for the past 5, 6 years. I have thousands of cold approaches under my belt. And I can tell you, most of the girls that are liking guys that are like over 6 foot, in good shape, that have good profiles, they're girls that no one would even look at twice in person. And I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but a lot of these girls have these unrealistic standards online because no one tells them any different. They don't get to experience any type of rejection on dating apps unless there's a guy that's like rude to them or something like that, but they just block them and move on. The thing is, there's no type of reality check ever. And it's only going to progressively get worse unless people stop using dating apps. The companies have it set up now where the same company owns all the dating apps. Back when Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder were separate entities, it was a little bit different. But now that they're all owned by the same people, their goal is just to make as much money as possible. So, like I said, they want the guys to go on there and pay as much money as possible to get their profile exposed and just try to get likes to get a date. And then the girls, they want to overwhelm them with likes. So then they have to pay to get access to the list of guys that like them. And then their ego gets inflated from the huge list of guys that likes them. And they develop unrealistic expectations. And then they wonder why they end up going on dates and the relationships don't end up working because they're shooting so far out of their league. It's a crazy concept, and when you're caught up in it, you don't really see what's going on. But when you step outside of the dating apps, when you stop using the dating apps for an extended period of time, and you go out and just learn social skills and talk to people like people used to do before dating apps, you see that it's not an accurate representation of real life. And people need that reality check because the girls that have unrealistic standards need to go out in the real world and get that reality check and understand that they're not going to get the 6 foot guy who makes 100K a year, who has abs and like all this stuff, or the guy who has the fancy car. Most of the people that are going to watch this video are guys. And I'm sure you guys have used dating apps, so you get what I mean. But that's how dating apps are operating nowadays. So my advice to you guys is limit the amount that you're using dating apps as much as possible. I'm not saying that you got to completely remove them all, but what I am saying is try to limit the amount of money that you're spending on the apps to get results. Make your profile as good as possible so you don't really have to spend as much money on the apps, because no matter the app that you're spending the money on, it's all going to the same company and that's their goal, is to get us to spend as much money on the app as possible and match us with the lowest quality matches as possible to keep us coming back to the app and seeking out better opportunities, but never finding them. I'm turning 31 in 2 weeks. So I remember when they were a new thing and it wasn't just about profits and trying to get as much money out of the user as possible. The algorithms have significantly changed. And now, even if you have what would be considered a good profile a couple years ago, it's hard in a lot of areas for guys to get quality matches. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to the owners of the apps manipulating the algorithm to try to just get as much money out of the users as possible. With that being said, I hope you guys got some value out of this video. I got to get back to editing. I just wanted to touch on this real quick and kind of give you guys an inside peek on how my mind operates. Sitting here getting some editing done, and it just kind of hit me out of the clear blue like, this is what they're doing. And I kind of understood the view from the guy's point of view because I've used dating apps for years as a guy. But then it clicked what they're doing for the girls and how they're getting money out of the girls, because girls used to not spend money on dating apps. I'll tell you right now, 7, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, girls weren't really spending money on dating apps. They go on there and they got what they wanted without spending money. But now they even got it to the point where the girls got to spend the money too, because they overwhelm them with options and they just can't sit there and swipe through thousands of people. And so they make the algorithm so you're not swiping on the people that already liked you, versus the old algorithm. That's what it was, is they would purposely put the people for you to swipe on that already liked you. So I appreciate you guys tuning in for this rant. Went a little longer than expected, but I got to get back to video editing. Hope you guys not only got some value out of this video, but I hope you have a positive and productive rest of your day. Go lift some heavy shit, and I will see you in the next video.